Hey everyone, Sean Smith here with PPC AMS Accelerator, and today we're doing a student interview with Miguel. So Miguel, let the people know who you are.
Hi, my name is Miguel Estrella, and I'm one of Sean Smith's students.
Amazon P, yeah.
I'm
And
with the
so,
PPC.
Miguel. So how did you've been on Amazon for a while? You've been in the space for a while. So give us some backstory of kind of a
Mhm.
little bit about, how far back you go on Amazon, what you've done, and then bring it up to like what your PPC methods were before working with my program, and then what they are now, and then kind of the results that you got from it.
All right, so I started on Amazon back in 2013, late 2013. I actually had a previous business before that, and I wanted to move to the online world. I was already selling physical products, but I wanted to move into Amazon. So I launched my first brand on Amazon, did really well. And it's been what, like 6, 7 years already.
Yep.
I've launched multiple mini brands. With PPC, PPC always has been one of my main strategies. Obviously, if you've been on Amazon for a little while, you know that rankings is the things that matter. I discovered PPC back in 2017 or 18, the importance of it. And I was doing the typical uh, auto campaign with one manual campaign, multiple ad groups
Yep.
for each product. So the thing that got me is that it was a little bit complicated to scale.
Yep.
So specifically, if you have more than 5 products. So I did PPC myself. I will go every other day to the campaign manager and try to do tweaks. Obviously, it's so overwhelming sometimes when you don't know what you're doing, or when you have a system that is not scalable. So I started going to the different softwares. I didn't like the fact that you don't know what they're doing on the back. So I did a few things, and I was able to find some success, honest, with that. And on the side, back days, I ran a little bit of an experiment with a few clients, because I am also a coach and consultant for
Yep.
Amazon sellers. So I got like 5 or 10 different accounts so I can manage their ads for them with my PPC structure. We were able to find success with that, honestly. But again, it was not scalable.
Yep.
It was something that I will find a ceiling every time. It will be like, I don't know what to do now. Like, I don't want to manage so many accounts. I don't want to manage so many campaigns.
Yep.
So one of my friends and one of my clients actually, he talked to me about Sean, and he showed me what he was doing because he was part of your program. And I saw that he had, instead of having 5 campaigns, he has like 2 or 3 products. He had like 60 campaigns.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, man, like, what are you doing? Like, that's insane. Like, what would you do that? And he explained me like how the system worked, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to get into that. And that's when I reached out to Sean, and became part of your program. And honestly, it's, if you look back, I used to take me like 3, 4 hours, maybe more, every week to manage PPC campaigns for each account,
Uh-huh.
because you had to go into detail per campaign, trying to make things work, to spending 6 minutes on a Monday, 6 minutes on a Thursday, and going from having 5 campaigns to right now I have 114 campaigns on my account. So I launched a new brand in January, and this specific brand, 0 reviews, one product to start with. I usually, what you do is that you start at like a ranking campaign, right? I didn't do that. So what I did is that I implemented your methods,
Yep.
started with 3 campaigns, started scaling it using your PPC optimization process and your expansion processes.
Yep.
Now we have 114 campaigns running for that specific product. ACOS is way better than expected. I'm in the supplement market. Usually when people start supplements, they try to break even on their PPC.
Yep.
All right. Because if you're breaking even, at least you're pushing sales, right? But this time around, knowing the fact that I'm in a really competitive category, I was able to go from not doing so well at the beginning because you're pushing sales to making a profit directly from ads.
Yeah.
So right now, my product or my main product is ranked for more than 100 keywords, being top 5 positions. The only thing that I've done is your PPC methods. We're doing about like 35% ACOS, which is profitable for me. Remember, like this is supplements. This is like a $20 product.
Yep.
And right now, sales, we just surpassed the 7-figure level last month, meaning we're doing about 84,000 a month in sales. If you do the run rate, is about 7 figures.
Yep.
For that specific product. And it's just because of I mean, obviously there's optimization, there's the listing, there's the everything else, but the main pusher of that specific product is your PPC way of life. Let's go that. Does it make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think what was really interesting was, you know, I think the big things that stood out to me were how simple your strategy was before working together. You know, it's like one auto, one manual, but it's so funny because like your strategy was simple, but you still couldn't scale even though it was a simple strategy, right? To whereas my strategies, to the average person would seem more complicated, but it allows you to scale. And so like it allows you to use less time. So in the beginning, it's like, like bulk file software, like, different filters and stuff, and you got to learn it. But then once you get it down, it takes you from like, for example, you said what, 3 to 4 hours to manage per account to like 6 minutes or something like that. And that's because you scaled it up, and you're probably launching more campaigns than you did before, and you're managing more campaigns than you did before. So it's like, you scaled the amount of effort in less time. It was like minimal input, maximal output. Like it's the definition of efficiency. So like, before it seemed simple, but you couldn't scale it up. It was simple, but like it wasn't scalable. And
maybe the thing that about the process, that the previous process, I will get romantic with a specific keyword. I wouldn't want to like do
intuitive
things like your way of doing things is more systematic, I would say. So it's just easier.
No romance.
Yeah, there's no romance. It's like the numbers need to happen, and they do. They happen. Like for example, my campaigns, like people ask me, what's your budget? I don't have a budget because they're profitable, just to say that. But because of that, and because of the systems that we have in place, thanks to what you do, right? We're able to increase budgets, daily budgets, to places where I never thought it was interesting to do. Let's say that. So yeah, I don't know if that helps out, but yeah.
Yeah. And I think another thing was like, so cutting it down. Another thing was like, what really stood out to me working with you, Miguel, was, so when we started kind of like building the program, the PPC AMS Accelerator program, one of our big roadblocks for me was, historically when I would manage supplements accounts, those are more difficult generally, like supplements, beauty, grocery. There's certain categories, even pet supplements sometimes, depending on but these categories were much more difficult, and we didn't have a lot of success. So when you joined the program and you told me that you were in a really competitive space, which is supplements category, which is where all the big hitters are, was what I hear. All the real big businesses are in kind of those areas. And you told me that, and then you told me how successful you were. I was like, whoa, because it's like an outlier. Like, the data for me, for a while has always supported that, supplements is a category where it's really competitive, and we didn't really like allow a lot of people in the supplement space into our program because it was so competitive. And a lot of them, the problems they had were, either outside of PPC, it was like a competitive thing. So it was hard, the PPC but when you started and you kind of really cracked the code with supplements, I think, in the sense that like, there are certain things that you did, like we would be on calls and you would tell me how you would, like what language you would use in the listing, and how you would do it. Like I can even think of specific examples where like you would say, hey, you need to put this type of language versus this type of language. And that made sense to me, to whereas historically this type of language is what most people use. And then you split tested images, you made sure your unit session percentage was real high. And then, like you said, on top of that, the PPC. So we just kind of like basically like your listing was really good, and our job was just, the PPC job was just to push it out there as much as possible, and that's what it did. And so, you went from, you're at, pacing at 7 figures at a profitable ACOS, which you probably expected maybe break even ACOS or less than break even ACOS. So what was, someone told you about the program, and you had actually originally joined a different program of mine, which was like a lower ticket program that I discontinued. So what I want to know is, here's the question I want to know. So like, you went through the smaller program. What made you want to join the higher, the ticket, the main PPC AMX accelerator, which is what we have now. We don't have that other program anymore. What made you want to join that one?
Well, being honest, I joined your program. I got really good results
Yeah.
from your initial program that I joined. Honestly, it was underpriced, being honest.
I
So
got that feedback a lot.
I think it's um, I love the fact that it's part as well. Like you learn more from the consulting, not the consulting, the one that you currently sell. You learn more from that,
PPC
from
AMX
the other
accelerator.
one.
Yep. Yep.
But for me, the reason why I joined your new program, or your current offer, the PPC accelerator,
Yep.
PPC AMC accelerator, is because I have access to you,
Yeah.
honestly. And it is not the same to go through some videos and implement than to go through the videos and also get feedback, because
Yep.
that's when you get unstuck. Like most people, what they don't know is that you buy a program, you consume it, and now you're on your own. But
Yep.
with the type of program that you're selling, which I think is the right way to go, you also get feedback from the creator. And for me, that's the value on that is like 10 times higher than whatever price you can charge for that.
I agree,
So
man. I agree.
yeah,
So basically, you got some really good results from the initial lower ticket program, um, but you wanted access to like coaching, more the group
I
coaching, pretty
wanted
much.
access to the man, pretty much. Uh, but again, like the process is the process. I got sold by the process. Like the
Yep.
process that you have on the system that you have, I think is great. I just, being honest, I just think that the to be able to have the feedback, because it's like when you join the calls on a weekly basis, and I try to do it every week, you
Yep.
know that, it's more valuable, the feedback that you get for your specific product or for your specific situation, than what
Yep.
you will ever find in a video. Let's say that
I agree with
it's
that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, and that's another thing that like, the coaching calls are huge because it allows you to ask, like you said, detailed questions, man, like about your specific product. Like I know what category you're in. I know what your price point is, and I can give you feedback based on, because I've been doing this for 4.5 years, hundreds of accounts, talked to so many people. So I have more specialized knowledge outside of the program that I continue to gain, actually, because because I continue to work with 7-8 figure brands and things like that. So that's
and
crazy, man. That's cool.
um, something else that I like about the calls is that, well, the way that you run the calls, I mean, you see a lot of people on the calls. It's amazing, right?
Yeah,
But
it's amazing.
sometimes you have your current situation, you have your own questions or your own experience, but somebody else comes in, they have a different scenario, right? And
Yep.
you're able to learn from them. I mean, you're the coach, but you get to see people with bigger accounts. I mean, you have like people like, I don't know if I'm able to share names, but Zay and the other group, which
Yep.
they are at a really, like, their revenue numbers are way bigger than my current revenue numbers, which is good. And I'm able to see what they're doing on their business, and I am able to implement that in my own business. So for me, that's invaluable. It's just like a little mastermind that we have there.
True,
So
man. It's true.
so
I agree, man. I learned just as much. I learned as much from everybody as they learned from me, man. Like I learned a lot from you. I learned from Zay. Yeah, dude. Like, and the growth that we've seen with accounts is nuts. For some of these accounts, like you said, Zay been with him for a couple years now, and his growth is so impressive. And it's just nuts how he just scaled so quickly, and it's super inspirational too. And, I love like learning more about like why people keep going, because you get to a certain point. It's like, why do you want to get to 8 figures, things like that.
Mm.
And then you can kind of like get in the weeds there.
And if you think about it, it's really important because us as entrepreneurs, I mean, I'm at my house. I mean, I'm by myself. I don't go to an office, right?
Yeah.
My friends, they don't understand anything about Amazon. I mean, I
Yeah.
about it, they think I'm an alien or something like that, right? So just to have a place
Trust me,
where
man.
we can talk about growth. Because I mean, for me, I mean, for my Amazon business, there's three main things. I don't know, and you go through it already, which is product selection, optimizing my listings, and advertising. The main three things that I care about.
Yep.
So my listings are optimized. My PPC can always get better. This is where I go in and I talk to you about my situations on every Tuesday, right? And I mean, that's the place to grow. That's the best place to grow a business, by
Yep.
getting feedback from smart people, smarter than you, which
It's the
is the
best
most
way to do
important
it,
thing.
man. And I think like, even outside of like PPC, you can really talk about anything. Cause businesses are so dynamic and entrepreneurs are dynamic people. And like you said, like, um, like you said, your friends might not be entrepreneurs. It's hard to like, it's hard to like connect on that level when you guys don't, and dude, as an entrepreneur, like the majority of our life is work. That's what it is, man, And so to be able to go through that with other people and chat with them and stuff is really nice, man. It's kind of like just like therapy in a way, it's really like just good way to just, let some steam off or just talk about stuff that maybe other people would be like, oh, okay, that's cool. I don't know what you're talking about, but that's fine. Yeah, I agree with that too, man. The coaching's nuts. And so, you're in, I mean, I don't have any much else to say, man. I mean, it sounds like, uh, you wanted, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add? I think we got the story covered.
Yeah, I mean, we cover pretty much everything. Like the one thing I love about your course or your program is the systems that you have. It makes anybody, like, even though it might sound complicated that you're going to be working with Google Sheets or with Excel. I do
Yeah.
Google Sheets because I like them better. And you're able to systematize everything. You give people rules.
Yep.
You give people systems, and again, the support. I mean, for me, it made a total difference,
Yep.
the way that I run my business now. And I don't know if you have any questions about that, anything that you need to know about that. I'm an open book.
Yeah.
But
I was
yeah.
going to say what I like about what you said was, you said that gives people rules. I was literally on a phone call last week, and like I was talking to a guy about his PPC. He was interested in maybe joining the program, and he was making 7-figure seller, and he was making he was like basically like going into his campaign manager and like he like analyzes each keyword, and then he'll look at ACoS and click-through rate, and based on all these, like a more I call it intuitive approach, where like you're using more intuition, to whereas like I'm just hardcore numbers, right? Like the romance is in the data for me. It's not in the actual word itself. So, and that's helped us a lot, man. And like you said, it gives people rules, which I think people need. They need rules, because if they're not given rules and a set structure, then it's easy to veer from the path or get caught up in like over optimizing or spending too much time on one keyword or spending too much time optimizing campaigns. It's just numbers, like look at the numbers, because at the end of the day, that's what your business is made up of. It's of numbers. So like if there's a keyword, dude, I have products that when you look at the 60-day search term report, we have over 3,000 search terms that have at least one like sale, right? So we're going to bid on it, even if it's completely irrelevant. And dude, I work with like high volume products, and I'll go through our PPC, and I see the most irrelevant keywords getting amazing sales. And so that's why I like to use numbers, because you don't want to make too many assumptions. Because one thing we've seen is, you might see this with your products as well, because you kind of started from scratch to now, as your product gains sales volume and like gets bigger on the marketplace, you start to convert for like more keywords that you probably never thought you would even convert for. That's what we see. Like
Completely.
you'll see stuff in the search term report. You're like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. But hey, got the sale. And you have to think about like the technology you're working with. It's not perfect. And so, you got to think about data attribution. How does Amazon attribute data? What are the data attribution windows? There's so many complicated questions to ask. That's why I just like to use the numbers and then go from there, man.
And also something that I like about the program or your technique, the way that you find new keywords. So like my campaigns, they grow every single month. And the reason why is because I implement your 3 methods every single month to get new keywords. And that expands the campaign like ever going. Like it's insane. Like as you said, there's keywords that I would never expect for them to convert.
Yep.
But now they're converting. Now
Yep.
I'm on the first page for that.
Exactly. Yep.
So that's the beauty of that. And there's a product, so that like there's a product that I launched a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and that one is growing faster than the first one that I launched this year. And it's because like pretty much whatever I saw that worked, I implemented. And also because when I joined the first program that you didn't have all the keyword methods in
Yep.
that
Oh,
specific
not all
program.
of them.
So
Yep. You're
not
right.
all of them. So in the
Yep.
new one, you have more things. That product, again, 0 reviews. And this is something that people uh, might find like weird. This is a supplement. Again, 0 reviews. First week, we went from 0 to making 10 sales a day with 0 reviews. Second week, we did 20 sales a day, and we were at the second row of page 1 for the main keyword. 0 reviews. We run out of stock because Amazon has the limitation of that
Yep.
you can only send up to 200 units at this time, right?
Yep.
But not only that, they were profitable. I was breaking even, to be fair, on the advertising side of things because again, it has 0 reviews. It does has like a 30% conversion because we're taking advantage of the top of search position. I don't know if people can understand that, but it's now it's back in stock. Reviews started getting in because obviously Amazon follows up with people.
Yep.
But I feel like this is a different way to launch a product. And you're relying on customers from Amazon. They really want to buy your product.
Yep.
And because of that, because you have a systematic way to do it, then you're able to not only get sales from PPC, obviously you get the benefit of organic without doing anything tricky. And that's something that I'm trying to run away from, like getting those tricky customers that people get at the beginning.
Yep.
So again, this is something that I learned with you. I mean, the PPC strategy to get there, and it's something that I will do for my 5th, 8th, 10th, 15th product that I'll launch in the next year or so.
Dude,
And
I was gonna say, one thing that kind of blew me away, in a way. I mean, I've been getting more feedback about this as well. Still, is how PPC, like just using PPC, still works. So like how people will launch on Amazon just with PPC, and it still works really well. You know what I mean? Because I know that like as time has gone on, people are they'll talk about like different methods, which I don't know much about because I only do Amazon advertising. But you've got like outside traffic, different things, right? But it's crazy to see, and I'm not saying those are good or bad because I don't know anything about them, but it's cool to see that PPC still has the power that it has, when it comes to an Amazon business. It's nuts, man.
and something that like, what people do, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but what people do the most common way to launch is with rebates, right? So
Yeah.
you see new products coming in, they launch, they go to the first page, they stay there for a while, and then they go back to the top, the lower position, right? What I've seen on my listings is that if I'm consistently converting via PPC, right,
Yep.
my position will go up and it will stay there.
Yep.
And just because of the fact that my PPC is profitable and I don't turn it off, I just leave it on
Yep.
all day long. I don't do like, let's do it in the mornings and in the evening. I just have running every day because
Yep.
it's profitable. My listing doesn't move. I mean, yeah, it might move if you do a ranking campaign tomorrow. But guess what? What I've seen is that if you do that ranking campaign on Friday and you steal my position,
Yep.
On Monday, guess what? I want to be again back in the top. And it's not me doing anything. It's just Amazon attributing sales to the highest converting listing via PPC. That's what it's doing. I'm not doing anything magic. What I'm doing is I'm just following your PPC process. And
Yep.
because I have PPC always on, sales continuously come in. And it's easier. I think it's a lower, it's less of a headache.
Yeah.
Uh, because I've done ranking campaigns in the past, and I mean it's a headache. Don't
Yeah. Yeah.
whoever tells you it's easy, they're just trying to sell you.
Yeah. It is a much simpler method, right? Like just having to manage one thing versus multiple things. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is an easier sell, let's say that.
And
Um,
what another interesting thing was like, I think that what's interesting is the way that you do it is, and this is, I'm not sure about other programs, but like we hit all ad types. So you've got sponsored brands video, you've got
yes,
sponsored products, keyword targeting, product targeting. You hit all ad types, which I think right now is a huge one. Because I talk to so many people and I'll literally like on like a call with them, I'll run through what their ad types are. And people are usually underutilizing those newer ad types usually. Like they'll have tons of sponsored products keyword campaigns, and then they'll be like, oh, I've got a couple sponsored brands video campaigns, to whereas they should probably have way more sponsored brands video campaigns, at least from what we've seen. I will say that we have products that have been around for years and stuff, and so the sponsored brands video campaigns doesn't outweigh them, but we are testing a bit like way more, or we do launch campaigns more frequently than most people because of the results. And that's what I like about what you're doing with the program as well, because you're applying all of the ad types in the program as
yeah.
well.
So I do have all of the ad types. For me, the best ones are sponsored products, obviously, because that's
That's the
the big
lion's
volume
share.
is.
Yeah, yeah.
But out of all of the campaigns, the second best campaign is the video ads, which is something unexpected.
Yep.
I have a slideshow video, man, and it's converting really well.
Killing it.
But I also run the sponsored brands. I also run the display, just because I follow your method. And honestly, again, it is so much easier to manage it. And that's something I want people to understand. Like, you can run a lot of campaigns. That doesn't mean that it's easy to manage. and
True.
and that's where you just start freaking out. You start hiring people to manage your PPC because you don't know what you're doing. That's where you start making mistakes because you get romantic with keywords and
Yep.
CPC and click through rate and convert. Like, what you have is a system that not only works for me, also worked for your previous customers. It worked for my friend Fabio, who was the one that recommended the program,
Yep.
and that's why I joined. Like, whenever somebody that is close to me tell me, Miguel, you should take a look at this guy because he's doing good things, I will just join, and that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happened. And the results speaks for themselves.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I wanted to ask, so we got all ad types, which I think is a huge one, and it's systematic. Like you keep saying, like it's easy. Like you said, like think about it, man. Like Amazon's only getting more complicated, and so like you said, like people can launch all these campaigns and all these ad types, but how do you manage those? How do you systematically scale those? How do you create a system that allows you to continue to do well with the PPC and not neglect it? And also be able to focus on other areas of the business like product selection, listing up, so you don't have to neglect everything. So either you might get to a point where you scale it up and you can't manage it, so you're either spending all your time on PPC and neglecting other areas, or you're spending all your time on those areas and neglecting PPC, and then you wonder why. And one thing I learned is when people neglect PPC, when they come back to it, they have no clue what to do, right? Like, or they just
Yep.
don't have the confidence to make a decision because they're like, dude, I haven't optimized my PPC in a month. Like I go in there, I don't even know what to do. And then when you scale it up, it becomes overwhelming. When you have 2 campaigns or whatever, but when you got hundreds of campaigns and you don't know how to manage it, it's an overwhelming feeling. And
Completely.
as Amazon businesses scale, that's exactly what happens. They have to keep launching more campaigns, and it's the management becomes exponential because you not only have to manage multiple listings, multiple campaigns, inventory management, all this stuff. The work scales. And so that's why you need something like a program that can systematically scale it down for you and get better results. So that's what you're
And
doing.
I
You're trying to scale down that work.
And I do remember the days where I would just go into my account. I knew that I need to do something with my PPC, right? I
Yep.
will go to my account and I will see those 10 campaigns. It's not even 1,000, 10 with each of them 3 ad groups, and I will just be like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I know, man.
Should I do something? I don't know. Like I would just put filters and go through like each campaign and then download my search term report. I'm like, oh my goodness. But it was like either, and again, like these were not profitable campaigns, but they were bringing sales, right?
Yep.
So you don't know what, if you want to break that, you're like, I know that I'm not making money. I know that my ACOS is 80% at the moment. It's not profitable, but maybe I'm making money on the organic side of things. I don't want to lose those sales. But again, it's just, I remember for myself, it was just, I didn't know what to do
Yep.
because it was overwhelming.
Yep.
And then systems came in, and then life changed.
Execution. Yep.
That's it.
Super simple, man.
It's
Super.
super simple
And
things.
you know, you said you're at 84K a month. You're pacing at 7 figures. How long did it take you to kind of get there from like, where were you at, when you started working with my program, and then
Okay.
how did it grow, and how long did it take, and what does PPC sales look like, ACOS, the before and after on that? Because I'd love to know how your business grew, before and after, with PPC sales, total sales, and ACOS, and in like a rough time frame.
Okay, so like before working with your program, before my strategy was to either to break even or to be in a little bit of a loss, right? PPC, because I know that PPC can break organic. That's something to be clear.
Oh, we can talk
Now,
about
when
profit
I
too. Is it, if you don't mind talking about that, like what your margins were and profit was afterwards, like before and after, like, because it
yes,
sounds like you were growing, but it just wasn't profitable.
no, but when I joined the program, I started a brand from zero, right? That was like the January 2020, zero sales, one new brand launching, right? February, it was the first month of the business. We did like $800 in sales. PPC was not started until March. March, I did about $10,000 in sales. It was about $3,000 in PPC ad spend. We break even. My conversion, my profit margin is about 47% at the moment, uh, without PPC, obviously, because we sell supplements.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's bigger margins there. That's why people like it so much, even though it's hard. So then we go from March to April. Sales went up to 18,000, went down in May because we ran out of stock to 16, 24 June, and ever since it's been growing 30% month over month. So 26, and then 30 something, and then 45, and then 50 something, 60, 80. It just been the growth like month over month. Right now we spend about, let me just tell you, my current ACOS is 35%, so my margin is 47. I make whatever difference profit directly from the campaign.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, what was my ad spend last month? And you can do the math. So let's see. Advertising campaign manager. I think we're like at 20,000 a month in PPC ad spend. Let's see. So last 30 days, we're looking at, 2 seconds. Last 30 days, $15,000 ad spend and 39,000 in sales. And that's on the campaign. That's not including organic, obviously.
Yep.
So that's the number. But again, it's been growing month over month between 20 to 30%. And again, like the only thing that I do, it's not the only thing, but the main thing that I do to grow sales is PPC. I don't have any other advertising strategy. I'm not driving people from Facebook, no driving people from Instagram or from the TikToks or anything like that. It's just PPC on Amazon following your methods.
So I think the big takeaway is,
But
like,
just to be fair, March till, so March, April, May, I did spend a lot of time optimizing those listings and testing things and testing images and changing the copy just to get the conversion. I saw how well it converted on March based on the strategy that you have.
Yeah.
Then I started optimizing and just became a beast.
I love it, man. I think the big takeaway for me is that you're able to like launch profitably in supplements, which is something that I don't see very often, man. That it's very rare from my experience, to be honest. Um, usually, and like you said before, you were like, your ACOS was super high and you were okay with it because you were justifying that, like, hey, like I'm getting organic sales, 80% ACOS, you're losing money, but I'm getting organic, which sometimes people teach that method, right? Like they'll be like, hey, you want to have these high ACOS because, in supplements, they'll say, oh, because you can get recurring customers. And then,
Yeah.
or they'll say, you really want to hold rank or whatever. But from what we've seen is like, I think that's okay in the beginning, but it needs to trail down over time. It needs to, and you have to start looking at different metrics outside of advertising, like you were doing, like listing optimization and things like that, because you need to scale. Unless you want to be like, unless you're like kind of in a position where you're a startup and you have a lot of funding, or you okay having a burn rate. That's the kind of startups, like they'll run at a loss for a long time. Or even like Amazon did that. But usually the people we work with want to scale profitably, and that's what you're doing.
And that's something like, if you're not profitable on your advertising, you will always have a budget cap, right?
Yep.
Because you don't want to be going negative every month. That's the reality. Like
Yeah.
if you're like, I mean, I don't have $1 million to put into inventory or advertising, right? I need to get a good return of investment and grow my business, right?
Yep.
So again, like if you're able to optimize your ads so that, again, this is something that I was going for, at least to make a profit directly on the ad side of things,
Yep.
then you have a business. Because if you're not to me, like if you're not able to profit directly from ads, you don't have a business. You're just hoping
Yep.
for things to work out.
It's so funny
Hoping for
because
Amazon to give you the organic ranking so you can make that sale. And
like
what
brand
people don't
awareness,
understand is
right?
that, yeah, what people understand is like, just like you, there's like 100 people more trying to get that hope organic traffic. If you're not able to advertise a profit, you're just relying on hope. That's it.
Yeah, and you're losing money, man. And that's the big thing, man. You can scale profitably and grow a brand. It's possible. And I think that's the best way to do it. It's just got to have everything lined up and put in the work, pretty much. I think we're good, man. So, dude, thanks for coming to the interview, Miguel. I appreciate you, man. And how can people reach you?
Well, you can always find me on Facebook. You can send me a message and we can chat. I mean, or you can find me inside of the AMC PPC Accelerator.
No, PPC AMS Accelerator.
PPC, just go to Sean Smith and look at his website. Join, because I mean, it's a good course at the end of the day. But again, like if anybody wants to reach out, anybody has a question about their current situation or anything, just find me on Facebook, Miguel Estrella. You'll find me. Good looking guy. Send me a message.
Modest as well. Modest as well.
Modest as well.
All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview with Miguel. I hope it gave you some valuable information about Amazon advertising, specifically supplements, to be honest. So if you're in the supplement space, this is a great call to listen to. And hope you got some information about Amazon advertising. All right, guys. I will talk to you later. Bye.